the Trongani Yabusa, Mr. Jonathan Emmanuel, the Trongani Koro, Mr. Josepata Nagasakula, the head of Network Strategy, British High Commission, Mr. Tim Henson, Honorable Kurandani, the Member of Parliament, originally from this village, members of the Vanua, Bulabinaka to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you from Excellency Henson in thanking you all for your perseverance and your patience and for waiting for being here today to receive us in a very traditional way. We're quite humbled with it. Ladies and gentlemen, as alluded to by Mr. Henson, last week our government presented a bill in Parliament and successfully enacted it to protect our country and make our country climate proof. As you know, over the last decade, particularly when Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Jose Aguirre Banimarama became the president of the COP23 Conference of Parties to discuss on climate change issues at global level, the discourse about issues of climate change on our vulnerable communities has come to the forefront. And up till that time, until such time, vulnerable communities were suffering in silence. But there was no major leadership taken at the national level, at the regional level within the country to bring the issues of vulnerable communities to the forefront about threat to their livelihood, threat to the infrastructure, threat to the village, threat to their burial grounds, threat to the road, threat to agriculture from climate change. And it's a reality. Throughout Fiji, I've been traveling widely, both previously as Minister for Education, as now as Minister for Agriculture and Waterways. I see firsthand how throughout Fiji, particularly our coastal communities, as well as communities who are living alongside rivers and waterways, how the very river and sea which were supposed to be providing a source of the livelihood for them is now becoming a threat to their livelihood. Communities have lost their burial ground. Last year we completed a nature-based seawall at Malomalo Village in Nandronga. And when we met the community with my other colleague, Honorable Seruratu, he asked me to come down and look at the issue there. And they were pointing out to me about 10 meters from the shoreline and said, Dr. Reddy, that's where our burial ground used to be. Our forefathers' graveyards. Now it's been washed away. I was at in Rakiraki, was it Ravi village? Nabukandra. I could see a pole about 20 meters inside in the sea where the burial ground used to be. Now, some people might say that we relocate the community to a higher ground. But what our Honorable Prime Minister is saying and what we are saying is that, look, relocation is the last solution. It's not about dismantling a house or a tent or tambu and taking it and putting it on a higher ground. We're talking about people's heritage, people's culture, tradition, bonding to the place. There's memories, there's stories that are intertwined where the ancestors used to live in. And if you can protect these communities at their own place where they've got a cultural bonding, a heritage, I think that is the solution we're looking at. And we say that's the first best solution. The others are the second or third or fourth best solution. We only come to that if you can't provide a first best solution. So ladies and gentlemen, when we heard about Namatakula Village being threatened by coastal erosion, by sea level rise, we said that, look, we need to do something. We need to protect this community, like we have done in other areas. Namoli village in Litoka, Nambukandra, Waidongo village in Ra, Verevera village in Ra, Malamalo village, Rekiniwai in Sabasabu, Navindamu, Nawiniboni in Boa. These are the ones that we have completed over the last 18 months. But we've got a long list. We've got a long list of places where we need to protect the communities from coastal erosion. And if you look at Fiji, a lot of communities are living, or the villages are situated alongside the coastal area, because their lifestyle are intertwined with the coastal area, the coastal resources. Now, 2 years ago, we sat down in our boardroom and we said that the list is so long, and if we are just able to do 2 seawall per year, because 1 seawall with a concrete cement wall will cost us about $1.5 million if it is about 200 meters. 100 meters will cost us about $800,000, $700,000, $600,000. In that way, it will take us about 50, 60 years to complete or protect the lot of areas that we need to protect now. And by the time, another 50 years time, there'll be another 60 or 70 areas ready that needs to be protected. And in this way, there'll be major damage to our communities. Houses will be lost, schools will be lost. Galoa village, Honorable Levere has been raising with me about their kindergarten, which is in danger of being washed away. So we decided that we need to deal with nature using nature. We want to use nature to protect the communities, because the problem is caused by nature. The solution has to be born by nature, born out of nature. And we went to the drawing board. And I must say that we have done remarkably well. We have established a nature-based solution, which now we get requests from around the world. What is our design? How did we come up with? Our nature-based solution, seawall, is one where the first line of defense is mangrove, the second line of defense is boulders, the third line of defense is a wall created by rotten rocks or soft stone or clay soil, either one of these three, whatever is available. Our first choice is rotten rocks, because when you put rotten rocks and you ram it up and raise it, it becomes like a cement wall. So either rotten rocks, if we can get it, if not soft stone, or if not clay soil. So our first line of defense is mangrove, second line of defense is boulders, and third line of defense is a wall, and fourth line of defense is we will plant vetiver, a traditional old nature-based technology, widely used. And we had actually, over the last 3 decades, we had abandoned the technology. If you look at the farming systems that we used to have before, we used to use vetiver technology a lot. Unfortunately, over the last 2 to 3 decades, we have abandoned that nature-based technology. We're getting it back now. So ladies and gentlemen, if you ever get a chance to go around with Levu, do look at Malomalo seawall, a purely nature-based solution seawall. Look at Waidongo. that we just completed about 4 months ago. Very. Namatakula, Namoli Village, Rekeniwai in Waterways, Sabu, amazing. And it is life guarantee. Number 2 is cheap. Number 3, we develop an ecosystem where you can then get your food. Crabs will breed in the mangrove. And number 5 is ecologically very sound. We are building an ecosystem, we are building resilience. And that's what the climate change build is about. It's about building resilience, it's climate proofing our country. It is showing to the international community what we as a small island country are willing to do to protect us and protect the global community, because climate change is a global issue. And individual countries need to get together and deal with the issue of climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very honored to be here today with Excellency Edgar's rep here. Unfortunately, he is not able to come because he's in quarantine with his family. We want to formally thank on behalf of the community here, the British High Commission for providing us $38,000 to fund the construction of this seawall with the financial support from Ministry of Waterways, which will protect about 300 people in this village, protect the village, protect their infrastructure, and we will be constructing a nature-based seawall with a length of 450 meters. And I want to assure the community that this will build an ecosystem that will serve the need of your future generation, your children, your grandchildren. It is not about ticking the box by doing a cement wall and then come another 5 or 10 years time, we are called back again because the cement wall got washed away. And that is why we are now decided that we will do nature proofing. So with these words, members of the Vanua, Koro, Honorable Kurindani, my good friend in Parliament, I want to thank you all very much, and I look forward to having a Talanoa session with you of a bowl of grog and with my friend Honorable Kurindani. Thank you, Naka. So we'll plant the mangrove that way. So there'll be about 3 or 4 rows of mangrove. Then there'll be boulders. The boulder will be the height. And then this will be the place where we'll backfill. This will be the place where we'll backfill.